Evening at the Movies is a proud member of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. Other shows in the network include Masturbators, The Sip List, Crushgasm, Love is Black, Men Are the Prize, Crime Rewind, and Literature Reapers. You can find out all about our shows and more at idnmtrpodcastnetwork.com. Happy listening. You are now entering the world of a movie review. A world full of drama, joy, ridicule, movie spoilers, unpopular opinions, and adult humor for as far as the eye can see. Welcome to An Evening at the Movies.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to your favorite movie-based podcast. This is An Evening at the Movies. I am your incredibly gracious and excited to be here host, KCB. But before we get to that, if there's any of you out there who are new to this experience, An Evening at the Movies is the podcast where we eat the stale popcorn, we drink the watered-down sodas, we talk about all of our favorite movies and why we love them. So, like I said, I am KCB, and always, as always, with the amazing co-host. Say hi, amazing co-host.
Hi, amazing co-host.
How are
Hello,
we doing?
it's me, Amanda. Pretty good. Just started season 6 of Game of Thrones, and I'm 4 episodes in, and I am ready for Ramsay motherfucking Bolton to die the most horrible death that has ever been. I hate him more than Joffrey. In fact, he scares me. Like, the actor who plays him is like, the way he does that evil smile, and like every time this dude enters a room that isn't with his father, I hold my breath because I'm waiting for something bad to happen. So yeah, last episode he just fed his stepmom and baby brother to the dogs, so that was cool.
Oh, I literally watched that question mark or question that you posed in the group chat pop up, and I was like, I should say something, but I don't want to because
I'm kind of
I know you needed to experience the moment of it, but at the same time, I know how you are, and you needed to be forewarned.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad George didn't warn me about that. A couple. Stop it! Sorry, you guys. My cat is. Ah! See what I mean? Pearl, go away. A couple of episodes before, George had actually warned me. He's like, about 60% into the episode, there's about 5 minutes you're not going to want to watch. And I ended up like sort of watching it, but I muted it and kind of looked away once I knew it was going to happen. And it was Princess Shireen's death. I cannot believe he let that witch burn his daughter alive. Fuck Stannis.
Yeah.
So and there was a episode where it was like 2 or 3 seasons ago, but where they put a rat on a guy's stomach and cover it with a pot, and that's how they kill him. He had me look away, and I had to have him mute it. But when I'm alone, it's like I kind of wish he would have warned me about the stepmom and the baby brother. I knew that as soon as he killed his father, I knew they were going to die. But I just wish I had.
I mean, at the end of the day, the show has been over for years now. Well, not necessarily, but a couple of years. And I'm sure you know ultimately how it's going to end.
I don't really. Like I knew Jon Snow died, but I didn't know he came back to life. So
That's why I kept going, he, but does he?
right. I will say, so I watched that. I finished season 5 the other night. I stayed up till like 1 a.m. because I was like, oh, there's only 2 episodes left. I got to see what happens. So like a week earlier, I had said something to George about Jon Snow dying, and he like freaked out. He was like, "What? Jon Snow dies? I didn't know that." And I was like, "Yes, you did. It was all over the internet. They talk about it in Bad Moms, which we've watched a few times." And he's like, "Well, I didn't remember." Like he made me feel so guilty for like a whole week. And when I watched when it happened, I was pissed because like that motherfucker already knew, and he was just making me feel like shit. And I called him the next morning. I was like yelling at him. He's like, "No, I was actually on the episode before that, so I didn't know until like the day after you told me." I was like, but yet he
I
still
mean,
makes me feel bad.
if you're 5 or 6 seasons into Game of Thrones and you don't haven't figured out yet that ain't nobody safe on this fucking show,
Yeah, clearly, clearly.
and
Which is why I'm worried for my leftover Stark girls. But anyway, it's not what we're here to talk about. But that's what I'm.
I mean, I know who's left at the end, and even those people, it's still like, how the hell did they make it to the end?
I am as soon as we're done. I haven't watched it today, but I'm going to start as soon as we're done because where I left off is Ramsey now has Rickon in his possession, which means Sansa's
Oh,
going to go back if she finds out. And Sansa just escaped that motherfucker. But she's got Bree protecting her, but still, I really don't want to see Bree or Sansa or Rickon die a horrible death. So I'm going to be praying for that not to happen, but we'll see.
mhm.
So yeah. Anyway,
So um, we're coming off of a mildly super successful classic Hollywood month as well as Summerween. Thank you
yeah.
to all of the amazing unpop kernels that have helped us to allow us to come into your homes and onto your technological devices to spew our sometimes off color goop.
Sometimes.
Well, I mean,
Sometimes.
every time. Uh,
This
but
podcast comes with a parental warning for a reason.
yeah, and well, luckily, no, no, there. If your children are listening or watching with you, you might want to plug their ears because there's going to be some shit talked about in this episode, and it might get a little bit colorful. But um, not resting on our laurels, though. We're going to move into our next incredibly, well, a theme that I'm incredibly excited to talk about because we're, what, 4.5 years into the show, and I'm honestly surprised that we've only scratched the surface a little bit on this person's work. I mean,
Yeah.
Meg and Kelly were with us for Psycho, and then um, I was solo with another guest for a brief discussion. Well, not a brief discussion, but we discussed Rear Window. But we will be back all month,
You did
and we
North
will
by
be,
Northwest too, didn't you?
huh?
Didn't you do North by Northwest as well?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Either way, all three of these movies that we have discussed in the past have done incredibly successful numbers. So the fact that we are 2 weeks from today, 1 week from release day, away from Alfred Hitchcock's 126th birthday,
Whew.
we're going to celebrate the man, the myth, the legend, the weirdo director with fucked up visions and groundbreaking, pushing the envelope shit that he's done. We're going to celebrate him this month, and we're going to kick that off with a discussion of Dial M for Murder. We've got
For people that don't know, we're talking about Alfred Hitchcock because you never said
that's
that.
right. That's why I could have sworn I said Alfred Hitchcock once.
I don't think so.
Okay,
Anyway,
well, Alfred Hitchcock, Alfred Hitchcock, Alfred Hitchcock. So, um, yes, Dial M for Murder, Vertigo, The Birds, and we will revisit Rear Window as well.
nice.
So that's what everybody has to look forward to this month. But we have to dial M for Murder first. So, are we ready to get into it?
Heck yeah.
Okay. So, I have to pull up my um, technological notes. Um, the answer to your question, no, it would not let me again.
Oh, really? Okay. Interesting.
So, Dial M for Murder released on May 29th, 1954, which means this movie is 2.5 years older than my mother.
Hmm,
Don't don't tell her that. Um, Obviously directed by the great Alfred Hitchcock, was released by Warner Brothers Studio, had a $1.4 million budget, and made a whopping $6.1 million at the box office.
hmm,
So, I mean, for 1954, $6.1 million is a lot of freaking money.
nice.
Uh, if you have not seen Dial M for Murder, it is pretty much just a rental option on the streaming services.
Yeah. Oh,
And I also have uh, Rotten Tomato scores. Would you like to wager guesses, co host?
sure. I gotta think people that are watching it nowadays probably don't appreciate it if they never saw it, when they were younger, just don't have an appreciation for these kind of movies. I think for the popcorn meter, I'm gonna go like 76%. And for the tomato meter, I go 89%.
You were close on one.
Okay.
On 49 reviews, the tomato meter gave it a 90%. And on 25,000 plus
Look who's here.
reviews, Jack, what's up, homie? And on 25,000 plus reviews, the popcorn meter gave it a 92%.
Oh, okay.
So evidently, 25,000 plus people thought it was a great movie.
Yeah. Well, it's because it is.
Well, yeah, we don't talk about bad movies. Not
That's
gonna,
not true.
yes, yes, we do.
That is not true.
Kevin! So, would you like to let the listeners know what this movie is about?
Yes. Ex tennis pro Tony Tenny. Start over. Take two. Ex tennis pro Tony Wendis wants to have his wealthy wife Margot murdered so he can get his hands on her inheritance. When he discovers her affair with Mark Halliday, he comes up with the perfect plan to kill her. He blackmails an old acquaintance into carrying out the murder, but the carefully orchestrated setup goes awry and Margot stays alive. Now Wendis must frantically scheme to outwit the police and avoid having his plot detected.
Bum bum bum.
Bum, bum, bum.
So, also, this movie is adapted from a stage play as well.
Yep.
So,
And it's been remade four
uh,
times.
and paid tribute to ungodly amounts of times. So,
Heck
I mean,
yeah.
the list is long and distinguished on that one. So, um, so yeah. So discussion time.
For as far as awards, there wasn't a lot that it got. The biggest was a Golden Globe nomination for Grace Kelly. The
It's Grace
Directors Guild
Kelly.
of, huh?
It's Grace Kelly.
I said Grace Kelly.
No, that's I'm just saying
Oh,
name recognition
oh,
alone.
Princess Grace. Um, Hitchcock got nominated for a Directors Guild Award for Best Director, and then Grace also got nominated for a BAFTA Award for Best Foreign Actress. So that was about it.
Yeah, and we're still in this whole era where stuff like this isn't going to get a whole lot of credibility and recognition from the Academy.
Yeah.
So, yay for the ones that they did get.
Yeah.
But so, we're going to rip the band aid off rather quickly and cue the co host rant because, co host, what is something about this movie that you cannot stand?
The kissing again with other Hitchcock movies, and it may, I think it is just the time, but the non-kissing kissing is so annoying. Either just give each other a quick peck or just don't kiss at all if you're just going to smash your faces together and not actually kiss. So gross and annoying.
Well, I mean, this movie even starts immediately. The very first thing you see
Yeah.
once, you know, the inside the apartment arrives is Tony face smashing Margot.
Yeah.
And
Just just like this, like flat lips, just like, and kind of moving around, and they're not actually kissing ever. Like their lips never even pucker. I don't get
it's
it.
not the only time it happens either.
Oh, I know. I
Jesus
hate
God,
that.
it happens like 8 times in the freaking movie.
Yeah, I
And I
hate that
know,
about these movies.
and I know it was brought up, I believe, on the Season of the Witch episode that um, we were educated on the, I believe it's Hayes Code,
I can't remember.
whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah, I mean, I know that it was a had to do with,
Tabooness.
yeah, I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. I mean, but ratings and like,
Yeah,
regulations they had for that kind of stuff. Like I get it, but whatever.
yeah. Again, good time to have had. Um, let's talk turkeys here to explain the Hayes Code again for everybody. I feel like this is probably not the last time this is going to come up in the next couple of weeks. So
Oh, I'm sure.
maybe
Yeah.
later on down the road, uh, we will provide a more succinct definition of what exactly the Hayes Code entails. So, um, was that your biggest and only complaint about the movie, though?
I mean, yeah, really, pretty much. I mean, I think Hitchcock does what he does in this movie like he has in others. And I think some of, there's not really a lot to not like about it, other than this was his only 3D movie. And I can see why, because some of it looked really weird. Um, Nowadays, you wouldn't even consider that 3D, but back in the 50s, that was like kind of
Yeah.
how they were trying to do 3D. Um, but that fad was also kind of going out of style by then. So it wasn't like, I guess it was like not shown 3D in a lot of places. And so I think when you watch, it's kind of like when you watch Friday the 13th 3 or Jaws 3,
3D. Yeah.
that they were able to turn those and make it where you could still see it 3D without actually showing 3D. It just wasn't that good. This movie they couldn't really do that with. So I would have
Yeah.
liked to see it in the theater and like see it with 3D glasses and see how it looked. It could have been cool.
Yeah. So I didn't know that until after I'd finished my rewatch. So probably one of my biggest complaints was quote unquote the video quality
Yeah.
of the stream,
Yeah, it's not very
and
good.
I'm I'm assuming that that is in large part due to shoddy 3D filming.
Yeah. I think the only other thing that I feel like you didn't really get a sense of foreboding until way into the movie. Like even when Tony is sitting there just casually talking about murdering his wife to this guy, I liked how smug he was about it. It was almost comical.
He's
And
a dick.
oh yeah, he's a total dick. Um, and I can't decide because obviously I compare Perfect Murder to this because it's a remake of this movie. And I'm like,
Yeah.
did Michael Douglas do it better because you immediately know how diabolical he is, or did this guy do it better because he's just having a casual conversation? But for me, it's the lack of scary music or thrilling, or you know what I mean. Like the movie opens up like it's going to be this like rom-com. If you listen to
Yeah.
the music, you don't really get a dark sense of anything with the music until till Swan comes in to try to strangle her. There's like a couple of pieces where it kind of isn't as peppy, but other than that, I think I didn't. I feel like the music up until that point didn't give us enough of a feeling of fear like it should have.
Well, and even then, when it does try to deliver that moment of fear, it's not really. I mean, it's there. It happens. Move on.
Yeah. So it got better, but just the opening of the movie would have never told me like we're going to see a murder movie, you know?
No, that yeah, that is definitely a rom com type feel to it. It's plucky. It's all happy and sunshiny and all of that.
Yeah. And I feel like there also wasn't enough I don't know what the better word for it is, but awkwardness between between Margot and Mark. Sorry, I was like blanking on their names for a second. Like they're having this conversation and she's talking about, oh, my husband's gotten better and that's why. But when the husband shows up, they're like perfectly chummy, and of course they're trying to keep up the facade. Like I get that part, but
But
you
they're
never
not doing
even
it
got,
very well.
huh?
They're not doing it very well. Shit. He, I mean, Tony knows, and he's already stolen the one remaining letter, and you know,
Well, right, but they don't know that he knows. Like they're and from Tony, I expect him to keep up the act because we know already he knows all of this stuff, and we already can tell that he is a sociopath for sure. He's able to keep on that straight, mild face and mild manner while he's talking about killing his wife. Like Ray Milland did a great job playing this character. But I guess it's like I felt like for Margot and Mark, there should have been like some stolen glances behind Tony's back, or like, if he says
Yeah.
something that like raises their red flags. They should have like glanced at each other. And you don't get any of that. It's just all it all feels very innocent. So I don't know. I feel like and maybe it is because I saw Perfect Murder before I saw this. And obviously it's a much newer movie, but I feel like that part where all the three of them meet at some party that, her and the lover are kind of like, giving each other looks or like whatever. And it just it didn't feel enough like those two were really having an affair to me.
No, a perfect murder definitely goes harder in the definition. I mean, and I think that's a lot of that is due to the fact that 40 years later, there's a lot less restrictions on
Yeah.
what they could have done.
But they could have at least added a couple of like, behind Tony's back eye contacts or like just something to give the sense that yes, we're keeping up this act, but we both still know that,
Yeah.
we used to fuck. Like and we don't want him to know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those situations like where you're saying though, because of the way that they are playing the whole affair, it's like, do you get the honest to God get the feeling that they've actually, you know, bumped uglies?
Well, they smash lips once or twice, I think.
Less than freaking Tony and Margot did.
Well, yeah, but they're married.
Yeah, but they didn't freaking bump uglies.
Well, you assume they did. They're married.
Well, yes, of course. I mean, Tony, you know, has been awarded Margot as his bride, and yeah, that you have to consummate the marriage upon I do, I do. You may now kiss your bride. Face smash, and then you know.
Oh my.
That is probably not what Margot said.
Probably not.
So, um, considering the fact that uh, I think one of my favorite things about this movie, though, is the fact that they tell the complete story throughout the what hour and 45-minute runtime,
Yeah.
and you get every bit of the story, but you don't necessarily have everything blatantly shown in your face.
Right.
Even like, I mean, you get more of that in Psycho than you get in Dial M for Murder.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that key thing, if you don't already know it, is
Yeah,
hard to figure out, but I feel like it's hard for me to say because again, I've already seen A Perfect Murder, but it didn't occur to me in that movie. I was very confused about the whole key situation until Michael Douglas realizes it and he's like, "Oh." Or no, when she goes to take the key to the guy's apartment and it works. But before that, that it hadn't even occurred to me. So I wonder if I had seen this movie first, would I have ever figured that out? I got to think the answer is no.
yeah, I saw Perfect Murder before I saw Dial M, so there wasn't really a whole lot of surprises when it came
Yeah.
time to see this movie. So, and I'm not complaining, but definitely with, you know, the pieces to the puzzle Hitchcock had in front of him, he put together a well put together piece a puzzle.
Yeah, I mean that was a great plot twist to catch him because otherwise Tony is on top of everything. Like Even
Yeah,
when he gets surprised, he knows what to say and what to do, and like he's diabolical. I mean,
like it.
for for instance, when he's like telling the swan guy what he's going to do, and he's like, we'll come home and discover her together. Like that sounds innocent enough, but you're like, no, he wants
Mhm.
to see the guy's reaction seeing his lover dead on the floor. Like this guy's evil.
Yeah, no, I I think I said it before we went live, but maybe I said it during the intro. Either way, Tony's a dick,
Yeah.
and dude plays it freaking almost masterfully.
He really does because he plays it so oh, crap.
uh, hey, it took almost 31 minutes for it to happen.
Ugh, yeah. I'm also sitting by the living room window, so that was probably not a good place
Oh,
to be. Oh
yeah.
my gosh. Poor Jack is trying to get under a blanket and he can't get under there. Here, buddy.
Did Jack not understand the fact that he lives in Texas? There's no blankets in summertime.
He's a dog and he burrows himself. Plus, you know how cold my house is.
You- but Jeej isn't home though.
Well, I like it that way too.
Oh, well, to each
He's
their freaking
conditioned
own.
me. Yeah, it's very different how the Tony character is played versus how the Steven character is played in A Perfect Murder because Steven,
Mhm.
you just automatically get this like controlling, like, and you can tell he's just kind of evil. This guy is like he's evil because, like, but the way he portrays it, he just acts so nonchalant and so just like
Matter of fact,
whatever. And then occasionally he delivers a line where you're like a little chilled, but like other than that, he just still seems perfectly nice.
yeah, I do remember the first time I watched it. My initial gut reaction was, well, I kind of knew what to expect, but
Right.
at the same time, it's still like I know Tony's an ass, and the way he took the character though when he created that character though is something I wouldn't have expected even for what 1954,
Yeah.
53, whenever they filmed the movie. So, you know, definitely hats off to that. And I would say personally for me though, even Grace Kelly wrapped up the whole concept of Margot pretty well with her performance as well. There may have been an aspect here or two that might not have necessarily worked in my opinion, but I'm, I feel like the actors hit their marks with each of the main character plot points that they developed.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought they all did a good job. Other than that, man, well, the actor did a good job, but that fucking cop, they did not like him at first. He was like immediately zeroed in on Margot. Like, why did you answer the phone that way? She's like, I don't know. He's like, well, why walk around the desk? It's like, fucker, why do you care how she answered the phone?
One, she just literally had somebody try and strangle
Yeah.
her to death. Two, she just killed somebody.
Speaking of that, that death was, you could almost feel that, those scissors going into his back. That
Ooh,
was a, for
yeah.
the 50s, that was a pretty brutal kill.
Well, okay, because I shoot me now for it because I don't remember what year it came out, but you don't even see that much in Psycho when Janet Leigh gets stabbed.
Right. It was 1960, I
Oh,
think.
so
Yeah.
this one is older. I thought this was older than Psycho, but the whole concept of opting for black and white instead of color always throws me off.
Yeah.
Which again, that's the unconventionalness of all things Hitchcock.
Yeah, yeah, it was 1960. Um, and it's interesting that yeah, even though that was in black and white, he did the same thing in this movie that he did in that with like wardrobe changes. Like Margot's wardrobe gets kind of darker and darker as the movie goes on, and he does that intentionally, like to show the plot getting darker and her life becoming darker and whatever. And just like it with Marion, when she's at the beginning with Sam, she's in the white underwear, and then when she's leaving to steal the money, she's in the black underwear. It's like,
Yeah.
transitioning from good girl to bad girl, like all that. So I like that he does that kind of stuff.
Well, and again, this is probably one of those things that it's not going to be the last time that the listeners hear this statement come out of either of our mouths. But Hitchcock is a very psychological director.
Yeah, he's very intentional with everything.
Like he knows what he's doing, what he wants, and he's going to do whatever it takes to get those
Yeah,
moments captured on film.
well, that's
So,
what makes him one of the greatest.
I mean, I almost wanted to have a conversation about potentially where he would fall in each other's greatest directors of all time list
Hmm.
because I don't necessarily know if I would go top five, but I can
Yeah,
also make an argument though too that um, look at what he did again. Back to the whole look at what he did with all the restrictions that he had handcuffing him as well.
right,
Where you know, not saying that Spielberg or whoever is as unconventional, but I mean Spielberg would be in the discussion as one of the greatest directors of all time.
well, duh.
And you know, shout out to the amazingly successful episode of Jaws that aired a couple weeks ago. But you know, Spielberg was allowed to go places with stuff he's directed that Hitchcock couldn't go.
Right.
So
I mean, obviously.
it's one of those points where it's hard to compare people from different eras because they're playing the game with different. It's almost like the whole LeBron Michael Jordan thing. You almost can't compare the two quality wise because the NBA game today is totally not the same as what Michael Jordan was playing
Yeah, that's true.
in the 80s and 90s. Although I will argue till I'm blue in the face that Michael Jordan is still 100 times better than LeBron James. But I digress. So,
I love that Mark is like trying to come up with this harebrained scheme to save Margot, and he actually figured the whole thing out almost.
I mean, literally,
Hilarious.
he's trying to explain the quote unquote alibi or the alibi to Tony, and it's like step by step everything that
Right?
Tony had laid out for Swan to do.
Yeah, like that kind of made me giggle. It's like he doesn't know how right on the money he is.
I think that was part of the beauty of having her quote unquote lover be a murder mystery writer
Right.
because it's somebody who has expertise in creating those types of worlds and environments.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my gosh. I am so sorry. I cannot stop yawning. I don't know what's wrong with me.
well, that's okay. I've done it a couple of times since we went live. So, I'm not complaining.
And then I think probably I gotta say that I think Tony had some of the best lines in the movie, like when he's talking to Swan, trying to set up the whole plan. And I can't remember what they are talking about, but Swan says, "Well, she could say the same thing," and he said, "But she's not going to say anything, is she?" Basically, saying because she'll be dead. So she's not gonna say anything. Um, and then when like Mark is giving him that plan, and he's like, Well, it would be months before I could access that money, and people don't commit murder on credit.
I know. Goes to show you just how much quote unquote credit has always been a part of American society. Well, not even American, because the movie takes place in London.
Yeah.
So go figure.
And I love him at the end when he realized he's caught. He tries to go out the door and he's like, "Oh." So he shuts the door and he's like, "Fuck it. I'm going to have a drink. You guys want a drink?" And then they're all like, "Yeah, we want a drink." Like, what? He's like, "Fuck it. I'm caught. Let's get drunk."
Right.
Cuz he poured himself like a triple there. But I loved how he's like,
Well,
"Do you guys want a drink?" And even Margot's like, "Yeah, I could use one." And Mark's like, "Yeah." Like you're gonna drink with the guy who just tried to kill you and ruin your life?
I mean, damn near if the cop hadn't figured it out. I mean, she was what, a day away from
Yeah,
hanging?
yeah.
So,
It
yeah,
was
I
it
mean,
was the day before she was gonna be executed. So
Tony's in the same situation now because I can almost guarantee you double jeopardy doesn't apply to him because he didn't freaking go on trial for murder.
I was gonna say it wouldn't be double jeopardy. It'd be his first time on trial.
Yeah. Well,
Plus, I
and
don't even know if they have that in England.
true. And technically, it's not on trial for murder. He's technically on trial for attempted murder.
Yeah,
So,
conspiracy to commit murder or all that. Yeah.
why is there a ghost moving in your background?
What?
I just saw something move like in that general space right
My
over there.
glass. Was it my
Oh,
glass?
well, it might have been.
That was
It just
that was just
ha-
moving.
happened to catch it out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, I thought Jeed was gone.
He is. He'll be home tonight. This is sparkling water, by the way. Or lime Topo Chico.
I was gonna. So it's still adult, just not all the way adult.
Yeah, because kids aren't drinking Topo Chico.
But
I haven't
Amanda does.
I haven't had wine in 3 days.
High
I'm get,
five.
I'm getting blood work tomorrow, so I want to see. I want to see because well, never mind. I'll tell you later. But
You want to have more blood in your alcohol level than alcohol in your blood level.
exactly.
I understand totally. So, spoiler alert, that will not be the case this weekend for everybody's favorite co-host on an evening at the movies.
I don't
Uh,
have any drunk stuff going on this weekend.
well, I'm your co-host and you're my co-host. So,
You said everybody's favorite co-host. That's me.
yeah,
Let's be
me.
honest. No, that's me. Actually, I might be getting drunk Friday night when we go watch our friend's band play. So there, I'll let you have that.
Oh, well.
But we know I'm your
Just
favorite.
know that whatever happens Friday night, you are still my plobster, and I love you to death. Mean it. And there might be drunk texting involved,
Oh, on Friday and Saturday?
and probably Saturday too. Both.
All right. Well, I'll be around.
For those of you, for those of you who don't know, my 30th high school reunion is this weekend, and that's why we're recording on Wednesday instead of how we talked about going back to Sunday because I'm probably going to be hungover for like 3 days after this weekend,
And you suck at
and
podcasting when you're hungover.
I really do, and I don't want to have to record this and then re-record it. So, and we don't
Fair.
have that big of a window after Sunday to get the episode recorded, so I can drop it. So, um, would you like to let the listeners know what your top five list is?
I will. So, Funnily enough, strangely enough, oddly enough, Casey and I have similar top fives, but I don't think we'll actually have any of the same movies. We might have one. So I have picked top five movies with failed or botched murders. So in my movies that I've picked, there had to have been an intended person to be killed that was not killed for some reason. Their plan got foiled or whatever. So
Hmm.
hence, because it goes with this movie. So how many do I have written down? One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay, I'm gonna make my honorable mention Malice, and the only reason I'm making it the honorable mention is because the person they're intending to kill is a little boy, and you don't find that out till the very end of the movie, and it's a very quick. So the whole movie isn't based around that. So, but still technically a murder that didn't happen because somebody caught them. Damn it.
I love that movie.
I do too. Malice is a very underappreciated 80s gem. Uh, Nicole Kidman, Alec Baldwin, and Bill Pullman. Yeah, check it out if you haven't seen it.
I
Okay.
believe. I was just gonna say really quick. I believe Malice was my first introduction into Alec Baldwin being a pure psychological dickhead.
Yeah. You say I
You
have a
go
god
from
complex.
Beetlejuice into, yeah.
Yeah. He's
You
like,
ask me if I have a god complex. I am God.
I am God. Okay. So number five, actually, I take that back. I'm going to make my honorable mention a simple favor, and then I'm going to make Malice my top five. Um, let's see. Number four, I'm going to go with Red Eye. They're attempting to assassinate that politician, and Little Miss, oh crap, what is her name? Rachel McAdams foils his evil plan. Number three,
Bum, bum, bum.
number three, I'm going to go with Gross Point Blank. John Cusack's hired to kill the father of his high school lover, and although he foils the plan himself, it's still a you know failed murder
It's
plot, and
still
I
a
just love that
plot.
movie.
Hashtag
Uh,
still coming soon on an evening at the movies.
yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Number two, I'm going with Get Out. Um, Poor Malik barely escaped with his life. Malik, that was his name, right? Yeah, I think so.
I believe so.
Um, he was able to beat them. And then number one, I am tying Dial M for Murder and A Perfect Murder. Yeah. um, I mean, yeah, I love that she lived. I love that she killed the person trying to kill her. And I mean, the main difference, and I think that I like better about A Perfect Murder, is that the wife figures it out all on her own. Whereas in this movie, she doesn't, but she also doesn't have much opportunity to because she's in prison. So, so
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, she pretty much goes to jail the next morning,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. That whole
quote
fast
unquote
forwarded,
intermission,
yeah, 2 minute intermission, and
and then
she's gone
come
to
back
jail.
and,
She's been sentenced, and now she's a day away from hanging. Like, come on,
yeah,
a little unrealistic.
exactly.
But yeah, so there you go.
So, what does KSTB have for his top five? We went with, I have to pull it up because I have it on my phone. Greatest classic murder mysteries. So when I say classic, I'm talking about the movie or the version of the movie has to be at least 20 years old. So
All right.
not younger than 20 years old. Knives Out does not count.
Right.
But if you take the classic out of it, Knives Out is obviously a top five
Oh yeah, for sure. So good.
movie, and dare I say it's fighting with my number one for the number one spot.
Yeah,
So,
they're yeah. I'm with you. All right.
so honorable mention number one is the 1974 version of Murder on the Orient Express.
Nice.
Honorable mention number dos, everybody's favorite um, live action slash animated murder mystery, Who
Uh,
Framed Roger Rabbit,
yeah.
and my top five, which this sucks because all five of these movies are great movies, and I think it's probably one of the first times that I've had a top five list where all five, like the margin between all five, is so paper thin that it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, Number five is A Perfect Murder.
Yeah.
Only, I mean, again, great movie, all of that. I had to put it somewhere on the list, and to me, number four gets a little bit more credit because it's the movie that laid the groundwork for A Perfect Murder, and it's Dial In for Murder.
Nice.
Um, Number three, I went with another Hitchcock movie, Rear Window,
Mm-hmm.
and then my number two and my number one, I went for pure rewatchability for myself because they're two of my all-time favorite movies of all time. And one of the number two movie is a movie about a dude that wants to ha- um, have a census taker over for dinner and eat his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti,
Nice.
otherwise known as Silence of the Lambs. And of course, number one, if you know myself and or the second best co-host in the world, you know what my number one is, and number one is the 1985 classic Clue.
Yeah. This is war, Peacock.
Mm, that movie is so. I mean, I know we said it before
It's
when we talked about
perfection.
Clue, but it is so freaking quotable.
Yeah. Very.
Like I could find a line from that movie to apply to almost everything that could happen to somebody in their day to day life.
Same.
So,
Same, same.
all right. So, if you were gonna rate the movie, this movie, not
Yeah.
Clue, but Dial In for Murder, out of five, what would you give the movie?
I really like this movie a lot. I think it's some of Hitchcock's best work, actually, and it's underappreciated in my opinion. Um, it's again one of those movies that it's almost all filmed in the exact same location, which is tough to do and still keep people interested. Um, and yeah, I mean, even though we kind of almost knew everything, there was still a little bit of a plot twist at the end, and that was nice. I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 silk stockings.
Flashback to my childhood because there was a late night show on Showtime called Silk Stockings.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Ah, softcore porn, but
Good old
yeah, this
Skin Max.
this movie is an awesome, amazing movie, and I'm trying to think. honest to God, don't think I have seen a Hitchcock movie that I did not love. I've always been a fan of the off the wall, unconventional type of stuff. And I mean, look at who one of my all time favorite actors is, Mr. Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Need I say more? Um, but yeah, Hitchcock and his vision is undeniable. And this movie, even with, I like I said, only having not having he has instead of 500 pieces to create this puzzle, he's got 100 pieces to create this puzzle, and he creates an amazing movie with so little to work with. It just speaks volumes to just how awesome and amazing he is and talented as a director.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm gonna go 4.5 scissors to the back out of 5.
Nice.
So woohoo! Hitchcock Month is underway, people. One down, three to go.
Yeah, love it.
So, obviously, we can't end the episode though without thanking the listeners for being here each and every week. Our unpopped kernels are awesome, amazing, incredible. All the good adjectives rolled up into one. We appreciate and love you guys all for being here each and every week. We hope you guys enjoy listening to us rant and rave about Mr. Hitchcock. Um, Coming up, like I said earlier, we have um, Vertigo, The Birds, and Rear Window, as well as a bonus episode coming up the last week of August, where we will be paying tribute to Wes Craven as well. So stay tuned for all of that. Uh, I'm not going to go into the whole Stephen King birthday bonanza stuff yet because that's still a month out. But give me a week or two and I'll be ready to give you guys the rundown of what we got coming up next month as well. For those of you active in the Facebook group, because y'all voted for the extra 2 movies that we're doing. So we appreciate you guys for participating in that as well and helping
Yep.
shape all of that. Last but not least, before I turn the microphone over to the best co-host in the world
I didn't say in the
ever.
world. I just said on this podcast.
Oh well, to each their own. But for those of you who do not know, An Evening at the Movies icons Kelly Florence and Meg Hafdahl have a new book coming out November 4th that is available for pre-order wherever you get your book ordering needs satiated. Um, the new book is called The Science of Alfred Hitchcock. So it fits right along with the science of women in horror, science of serial killers, science of Stephen King. It, they're basically looking at the entire career of Alfred Hitchcock and breaking it down and discussing it in book format. So, shout out to them and congratulations early on what I'm sure will be an amazing book. Um,
I'm sure.
and we definitely encourage everybody to go pick up your copy ASAP. And with all of that said, co host, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, this was a fun episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We thank you for watching and listening and hope y'all come back for Hitchcock Month on an evening at the movies. Goodbye.
Peace out, hair grease.